The day before the big Turin test of the Giro d'Italia, Romain Bardet had to abandon the race. Stage 13, unlucky for him. He had to withdraw with illness, as Arnaud Démare proved once again to be the strongest sprinter in this particular Tour of Italy. A third stage win, a bunch kick that was only secured when the breakaway was caught 600 metres from the line. The attention now turned to another breakaway or a GC day, with Juanpe Lopez spending his 10th day in the Maglia Rosa. Bora Hansgrohe with their strong lineup and GC cards to play, taking on the 147-kilometre run between Santena and Torino. Turin playing host to the hilly stage of this year's Giro d'Italia, with two circuits to be taken on around its wonderfully scenic hills. That meant a couple of ascents of Superga, the Colle della Madalena, and a technical descent to the finish line in the city centre. The shortest road stage of the Giro d'Italia, but with 3,000 metres of climbing packed into the second two-thirds. The stage started in typically explosive fashion. Mathieu van der Poel tried alone for around 15 kilometres, but was unable to force the issue. Several attempts at making a breakaway began, and things only started to settle down, and only for a brief period, after around 40 kilometres. Settle down at the front, that is, because at the back, riders were all over the place. The group that got out there didn't manage to hold on to their advantage for too long, though. That was because with 80 kilometres to go, Bora Hansgrohe began to execute their plan. That plan was to rip up the race. Aleotti working hard, then pushing on the descent. And the gap only at just over a minute. He'd finish his job once they were through the finish line with 70 k's to go. The breakaway caught, and Bora Hansgrohe driving it at the front. Alejandro Valverde had been one of those riders caught out. Also losing on the day really were Hugh Carthy and Guillaume Martin. Joao Almeida missing a split, whereas Martin missed it. Almeida would work his way onto the back. Wilco Kelderman was doing the damage at this point. And still with 65 kilometres to go, Valverde still continuing to lose time. Martin tried and tried, but he'd end up out of the picture. And as they rode into hell, the last 50 kilometres, Simon Yates was the only man at the front not also involved in the GC shake-up. Yates was there looking for a stage win. Valverde was continuing to slip down the GC standings. The bell rang with one lap to go. Kelderman finished his work and the first attacks came. Hindley made his move. Carapaz could follow. Vincenzo Nibali looked surprisingly almost back to his best. Carapaz himself would then try. 31 k's to go. And Juanpe Lopez was defending wonderfully well. Carapaz's attack with 28.6 k's remaining was the one that broke the front group. Nobody able to follow at that moment, and the Maglia Rosa into the red and out of the jersey. Carapaz, the 2019 Giro winner, would open up almost a 30-second gap at one point, but behind in the chase they would still work together, and then Nibali attacked on the final classified climb of the day. Bringing Jai Hindley with him, he'd be able to close the gap. Simon Yates was in pursuit as well. Nibali controlling his effort, looking like the rider who won the Giro in Turin 6 years ago. They'd all make contact over the top. Simon Yates arriving with 13 k's to go. Joao Almeida wasn't too far away, neither was Domenico Pozzovivo. Yates attacked with 4.5 kilometres remaining. Given the fact he's almost 20 minutes down in the general classification, the will to go after him wasn't quite as strong. He demonstrated strength himself, the man from northwest of England, And despite his GC woes, knee injury and problems on Blockhouse, he was there to take his second stage of this Giro d'Italia after winning the time trial in Budapest. A sixth Giro stage down the years as Hindley took second, Carapaz took third, Nibali fourth, Yates winning the stage and Richard Carapaz moving into the Maglia Rosa. 15 seconds between Yates and those chasing him, 28 seconds to Pozzovivo, 39 to Almeida, with Landa, Buchmann and Juanpe Lopez on the day's top 10. Yates showing that he's able to bounce back. Not up in the top of the GC as he'd want, but he took that new stage win, the second of the Giro for his team. Juanpe Lopez fought to the end. He has now slipped though to 9th, and a GC that before the day was separated by 1:28, top 10 now separated by 9:06. Carapaz the new leader, 7 seconds ahead of Hindley. Joao Almeida's now in third. And just as he took the Maglia Rosa on stage 14 when he won the Giro 3 years ago, the Ecuadorian superstar is back in pink. And here's his first test defending the jersey. It'll be stage 15, the last stage before the last of the rest days. It takes the riders into the Val d'Aosta. 2 first category climbs. First up Les Fleurs, then Verogna. At a climb to a summit finish in Cogne, with bonus seconds given out 3 kilometres before the finish line. Over 4,000 metres of climbing. Another big day in the saddle. And the first test for the new Maglia Rosa. Richard Carapaz will be putting his Ineos Grenadiers team to work. You can catch that stage and every day of the Giro d'Italia on GCN Plus, Discovery Plus, and on the television on Eurosport.